Welcome to Past Paradise, where we explore the fascinating lives behind the headlines. Today we're diving into the daring adventures of Danica Patrick, a small-town girl who raced her way into history as one of the most fearless and inspiring athletes of our time. Known for breaking barriers in the male-dominated world of motorsports, Danica became a household name with her record-breaking performances in IndyCar and NASCAR. After an impressive career that saw her earn Rookie of the Year honors and clinch iconic victories, she stepped away from the track to embrace a new chapter. Since her retirement, Danica has taken the world by storm, launching a successful podcast that celebrates bold conversations, creating a thriving wine label that reflects her entrepreneurial spirit, and empowering others with her motivational insights. With every turn, Danica continues redefining what it means to chase your dreams and live fully. Buckle up as we explore the incredible journey of this trailblazing icon. Born and raised in the Midwest. She was born on March 25, 1982, in the small Wisconsin town of Beloit. She grew up in Roscoe, Illinois, which is even smaller. To her surprise, becoming a race car driver was never one of her goals. It sounds like she had a lot of different dreams as a child, like becoming a loving doctor, a passionate singer, or a hard-working secretary. How did she become one of the best female drivers in the world and change the business for good? Well, it all began when she was about to become a teenager. How many things in the British Museum are British? A family bonding activity. Terry Joseph, T.J. Patrick Jr., and Beverly Ann had two children, Danica Patrick and Brooke, who is younger. In the early 1990s, their loving parents were trying to think of a fun activity that the four could all do together. Initially, their parents considered getting a boat, but the brave girls had other ideas. When Brooke rode a friend's go-kart, she was dying to try one for herself, and soon Danica felt the same way. Falling faster than driving for the finish line. Go-karts were bought for Danica, 10, and her sister Brooke, 8, when they were younger. Wonderful. After that, Danica became very interested in racing faster than she could reach the finish line. And as the years went by, her love and drive turned into a desire to start fighting. She improved at everything, especially coordinating her eyes and feet. Being able to compete all year made her want to move to California when she was 13, but that was only the start. Not just a driver. Danica did a few other things when she wasn't racing. Since she had such a wide range of ideas as a child, it shouldn't be surprising that she was interested in other things as she got older. One of them is cheerleading for her high school teams. In her free time, she also babysits. It came down to that she couldn't take her mind off the tracks, even if she weren't competing all year. Lucky for Danica, her parents were still right there with her while she pursued her dreams, even though the family didn't move to California. A well-oiled support system. To reach your goals, it's great when your parents support you, especially when you're a teen. Not only were Danica's parents cheering her on from the stands, but they were also there to help her win. Her father was her crew chief or racing coach and was also in charge of the pit stops during the race, where the tires were changed, the fuel was refilled, and other work on the car was done, etc. Her mother kept track of all of Danica's stats. It looks like their first plan to find something fun to do as a family worked out great. They had no idea that this would turn out to be so much more than that. Winning regional and national competitions. Patrick had won many go-kart titles in regional and national races by the time she was 16. But Danica, who was brave, wanted more than that. There was a teen rival who felt like it was time to step things up when she finally turned 18. She had been racing go-karts for 6 years and wanted to try her luck at road racing, which would be a significant change. Goodbye, Midwest. Hello, Europe. In her teens, Danica, known for being brave, made a name for herself in the national go-kart scene. Now that it's 2000, things are about to get exciting when Patrick chose to try racing cars. The main difference between karts and cars is how they stop, but that didn't scare her. Not only was she ready to try a new type of race, but she was also prepared to do it worldwide. By the late 1990s, Danica was ready to leave the Midwest and move to Europe. Breaking records. Patrick won second place at the Formula Ford Festival in 2000, a British race for single-seat racing cars driven by Ford engines. This was after she quit high school to participate professionally in Europe. British driver Anthony Dennis Davidson beat her by less than half a second. Not only that, but her finish was thought to be the best ever finish for an American then. Just think about how happy she must have been. Her success would go through the roof in just a couple of years. Indy 500. You may or may not be very interested in car racing, but you have probably heard of the Indy 500 and other IndyCar races, yes? If not, all you need to know is that it's the biggest and best race event in the United States. And until the late 1970s, women were not allowed to compete in this race. After that, only a few women raced in it in the following decades. But in 2002, Danica Patrick was about to get a chance that would only happen once in a million years. After 10 years of racing, a famous former Indy driver named Bobby Rahal gave her her first deal to race in Indy cars. Wow, what a fantastic thing! However, she didn't get to race in the Indy 500 that year because that season wasn't perfect. Right before Danica's Big Break. In 2004, just 2 years after that, Danica discovered she could finally race in the Indy 500 the following year. I felt great, and it caught me off guard. In an interview with NTT IndyCar Series in 2011, Patrick told the show, "I was everything I needed." It takes more than ability and skill to be good at racing. You need to be calm, passionate, patient, and want to be in danger. There was no doubt that Danica, who was brave, had what it took to be a great race car driver. Now, she would finally have a chance to turn her promise into prizes. Starting with a crash. The skilled and much-wanted driver had a big year coming up, but it was not all good. Patrick's first few races as a professional race car driver weren't the best. She was getting ready for the season's first race, the 2005 Toyota Indy 300 at the Homestead Miami Speedway, also her first IndyCar Series race. However, things got out of hand during the race, and several cars were involved in an accident. Getting sent straight to the wall. Racing is hazardous because you must drive a big machine at very high speeds on a tiny road with other high-speed cars inches away. Wow, that was powerful. There was a lot of danger in the 2005 Indy 300 Homestead race when one of the other cars started to lose control and go all over the track. The car was going down the track because its suspension was broken. Patrick told NTT IndyCar Series, "As it was going down the track, it clipped my right rear and sent me straight up into the wall." It was a huge hit. Patrick did know about the risks when she chose to play this dangerous sport, but she was so happy to have made it to the Indianapolis races that she didn't think her first race would end with her having to go to the hospital. Danica Patrick told NTT IndyCar Series, "I don't remember anything from when I hit the wall to when I woke up in the medical center. It was a huge hit." She ended up in the hospital with a slight headache, but she seemed to get over it quickly. Keeping her eye on the prize. To everyone's surprise, Patrick's business didn't take a big hit after this crash. That's what's great about her. She doesn't let anything or anyone stop her from doing what she loves or wants. And Patrick was about to make history in a way no one saw coming that same year because she was determined and driven. But the crash was disappointing, finishing in the top 10 in my first IndyCar race. But that's okay because a few races later, I almost won, she admitted in an interview with the NTT IndyCar Series. Blow the world away. But the 2005 Indy races weren't over yet. After 2 months, Patrick's very first Indy 500 race came around. The Indy 500 or 300 is the name of the race because each driver has to drive that many miles during the events. It takes 200 laps, going counterclockwise around the track for the Indy 500, and the excellent Danica Patrick was about to amaze everyone with her fantastic track tricks. Rookie of the Year. When she got in her race car and stepped on the gas, all Danica Patrick could think about was doing what she loved. She came fourth out of 33 skilled professional drivers on that Indy 500 road. She finished in the top 10 and led for 19 laps of the race, which is impressive for a beginner like her. That being said, getting praise for being a great starter was only the beginning. Becoming a role model in female sports. In 2005, Danica Patrick was named Rookie of the Year. For the next 3 years, the Indy Racing League, IRL, called her the most popular driver. She was a big star in the sports world, though, because she was the first woman to be in the lead during a classic race and finish in fourth place. Danica Patrick didn't have a figure she looked up to, but quickly became one for female sports in the middle of the 2000s. First female to win a major league race. Race was something that the eager female athlete loved so much and was very enthusiastic about. Over the next few years, she made a name for herself and worked hard to become the best driver she could be. And in 2008, at the 2008 Twin-Ring Motegi Indy 300 race in Japan, she won her first race. All of her hard work and dedication had paid off. Besides that, she was the first woman to win first place in a big league open-wheel racing race, another record she broke. I'm just me. Some people began to believe that Danica Patrick's rise to fame and popularity was only due to her big-time modeling jobs and endorsement deals with companies like Sports Illustrated and IMG. One thing that made Danica's brand stand out was that she only did what she thought was right and did it in her sassy way. I wanted to do great things and still be myself, which meant doing some things that weren't quite acceptable or PC. You may disagree with what I do, but at least you can respect my honesty. She told the LA Times, I'm just me. The turn of the decade. The girl from a small town in the Midwest had become one of the most famous players because of her skills, her attitude, and the amazing things she had done. When Danica Patrick switched to racing for NASCAR in 2010, she was already making waves in the driving world. Things were about to get different. Before anything significant could happen in Danica's work life that would change the business, she had an important personal statement she wanted the whole world to know. From patient to girlfriend. In the middle of the 2000s, Danica did more than work on her job. She met her future husband, Paul Edward Hospenthal, in 2002 before she got her big break. She got help from Hospenthal, a stylish physical therapist who worked with famous players, for an injury when they met. They went from being therapist and patient to dating. Still, it seemed like they knew how to follow the doctor-patient security code the whole time because they kept their relationship pretty quiet from other people. Bride-to-be. Do you remember how we said that 2005 was a very up-and-down year for Danica? Danica won more than just Rookie of the Year and Most Popular Driver this year. She also won Bride-to-be. Sure enough, she married Hospenthal in 2005, 3 years after the meeting. It was clear that Paul was important to her, even though they seemed to keep their relationship out of the public eye and the press, which was polite since Patrick was already famous by the time they got married. Learning a lot from her life partner. There's no doubt that Paul, Danica's husband, knew how serious the press and public can be regarding personal lives. There's no question that Hospenthal and Patrick had a very special and strong bond. They may have kept their private life a secret. Her husband was right there with her when she was on the road for her tests to cheer her on. Besides that, he taught her a lot about money, like managing her present income and saving for retirement. Just a smart guy, she said. He taught me how to take care of things, she said today in February 2012. A mutually sad decision. It doesn't matter how great two people are together. That doesn't always mean their relationship will last and work out. Sadly, they chose to split up at the end of 2012. In a post on Facebook, Danica told her friends, I'm sorry to say that after 7 years of marriage, Paul and I have decided to end it amicably. This isn't easy for either of us, but we agree it's time. He has been my friend and important person, and that will not change. Another up-and-down year. In 2013, Danica experienced many ups and downs, just like in 2005. On the one hand, she had just ended her marriage and relationship with her husband of over 10 years, which is never easy, no matter how amicable the split is. On the other hand, she started dating another famous driver, the handsome Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and they were together for 5 years. But before they broke up, Danica had been making a lot of professional progress in the middle of the 2010s. Breaking the glass ceiling time and time again. Danica's world-famous NASCAR Cup Series wins in 2013 were another excellent up. Not only did she set the fastest time in qualifying for the Daytona 500 race, but she also finished in the top 10. Her 8th-place finish earned her another title as the first woman to finish that high in the Great American Race. This big break in NASCAR competitions broke even more of the glass ceiling for competitive female drivers, making a big difference. Over the next few years, Patrick kept making headlines, winning more titles, and setting more records. This was a big deal because she was the first fierce female to be this successful in NASCAR. She also made a significant impact on the industry as a whole. Her domination was an inspiring example that made it easier for women to get into motor racing, but becoming one of the best female athletes of her time wasn't always her goal. Making a huge impact. It meant a lot to her to inspire young girls and other female athletes. But it turns out that Patrick wanted to encourage everyone, not just women. I don't have a message for women. I have one for people. As humans, we shouldn't be pigeonholed into a one-dimensional thing. I thought my strongest message was do what you love to do and be yourself, she told the LA Times in 2020. In 2018, Patrick made a massive decision for herself. A message for people. Patrick and Stenhouse were professional drivers, but they did everything possible to keep their relationship quiet. In 2013, Patrick told Fox News, "I don't normally say too much about my private life. I've always been focused on the track. I didn't want to confirm at Media Day so that we could keep the focus on the season, the Gen 6 car, my sponsors, and the team. That's what it's about for me." The two seemed very serious about each other for a while, and rumors spread that they might get married one day. However, in 2017, they decided to end the relationship. She was also thinking about stopping other things. New love. It just so happens that Danica's best moments in her work are also associated with her love life. Soon after her painful breakup with Stenhouse, Danica fell in love with someone else. The fierce woman fell in love with another player within a few months. This time, it was for football, a sport she loved as a child. Even though they had met in 2012, Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, began a public relationship in February 2018. Cheering for the Packers. Even though Danica was born and raised in Illinois, she was more than happy to cheer for her boyfriend's team, the Green Bay Packers, even though the Packers are from her home state. "I told Rodgers long ago I'd always root for him as a player. Now I'm probably going to cheer for the whole team. Take out the word probably. Now I'm going to cheer for the whole team," Danica told the Associated Press. In addition to what we already said, Danica's high work happens around the same time as her personal and love life. That means a big event was about to happen. The red carpet that had everyone talking. In 2018, Danica Patrick hosted the ESPY Awards. Her act got mixed reviews, with some saying her comedic timing was off. However, her red carpet look got nothing but praise. Danica showed how stylish she is by wearing a beautiful Saint Laurent short dress. Not only that, but her cutout Francesco Russo shoes made everyone talk. At that event, she and Aaron Rodgers walked the red carpet for the first time. The Queen of Speed takes a step down from the throne. Danica understood she was ready for the next step in her life in 2018. It had been 13 years of industry-shattering and adrenaline-pumping years. It was no longer in my heart. What I loved most about racing was that you could get better, place better, and finally win. I felt like I had less and less control over that, Patrick told Nightline. In 2019, she even said in an interview that she doesn't really miss racing now that she's retired. Before the Queen of Speed stepped down from her seat to start a new journey, one more roof still needed to be broken. Danica Double. That same year, the sneaky and stylish driver said she was retiring, but she also said she would run in 2 more events that year. The 2 races, the Danica Double, were her 2 best, the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500. But Danica had to leave with a bang, so she did one more fantastic event that shook the business. She was chosen to be the first woman to host the ESPYs, ABC's live ESPN Sports Awards show. This is so cool. Unfollowing someone on Instagram. Things were going well between Patrick and Rogers after 2 years of not racing, but it looked like there was trouble in heaven. It's wild how much people now use social media to talk to each other, and Danica's update on her relationship only strengthens that trend. When the news came out in July 2020 that Danica Patrick had stopped following Aaron Rodgers on Instagram, it caused a massive uproar. That's why there were stories all over the place about whether or not they did break up. Are the rumors true? Fans are perplexed and sad because Danica, who likes to keep her personal life private, seemed to share many cute social media posts with Aaron. However, the tragic reports that they broke up after 2 years together have been proven, even though the reason hasn't been made public yet. But because we know Danica Patrick, we know she never makes snap choices and knows how important it is to do what's best for her. That's why we're so happy and proud of how far the brave driver has come. Pretty intense dreams and warriors. What has Danica Patrick been doing after her fantastic stint as a race car driver? She has always been an excellent marketer and trader, even as a professional driver. From her wine brand called Somnium to her clothes line called Warrior, to writing and releasing her OK and starting her podcast show called Pretty Intense, she has done a lot. Is there anything she can't do? In 2019, she was given a great chance that she could not pass up. A cool cameo appearance. The new Charlie's Angels movie came out in 2019 and starred Kristen Stewart, Jacqueline Smith, Naomi Scott, and Elizabeth Banks. On the other hand, who was in the film and the trailer? Yes, the only Danica Patrick had a small part in the movie. What fun! In an interview with Build by Yahoo, Danica said, "It's cool when people ask you to do little things that honor your job or what you've done." Stop to smell the roses. She wants to do a lot more. She participates in charitable projects and events, gives inspiring speeches, encourages and keeps up with healthy habits, and has a list of exciting pet projects. Danica shared a picture on Instagram after the first Indy 500 that I came close to winning for Father's Day in June 2020. She wrote, "Now and forever, I am so grateful you're my dad. I learned from you how to work hard and have a dream. Let's take it easy and enjoy life now. It goes by quickly." The ambitious, loving, passionate, and driven woman has done much in her 30s and is ready for more. She jumps to do it at a pace that lets her enjoy the little things in life. I got choked up. Danica Patrick is back at driving in ways we didn't see coming, just when you thought she was done for good. In honor of the 105th Indy 500 race, Danica was asked to co-host the race and provide this year's pace car, a 2021 Corvette Stingray. How fun! People were smiling everywhere. The sun was shining. I drove the pace car, worked with amazing talent on the broadcast. There was great action on the track, and a truly wonderful person won his 4th Indy 500. It made me cry. Only 4 people in history have done that. But that wasn't the only significant event that day. A historical day. In May 2021, Danica was back on the Indy 500 track. It was a historic moment for both her and the race. Why is that? Because of the COVID-19 outbreak. That was the first race in history where there were no guests or fans. So, even though the plague stopped a lot of sports events around the world, or at least made it impossible to watch sports, 2021 was an important year for many reasons. The day before yesterday was better than usual. How many days like that have we had in the last 14 months? Patrick wrote on Instagram. An itch to explore. Racing race cars isn't the only thing Danica Patrick has been interested in 2021. Patrick had many significant events happen in her life during the pandemic and the shutdown. She focused on living a healthy life and selling her goods. She also went through a hard breakup and had to follow the same rules everyone else did during the lockdown. It's not a surprise that the driven and inspired role model wanted to try new things. Did she make that dream come true, though? If there's a will, there's a way. Do you know what we've learned about the excellent Danica? She has shown us repeatedly that if you have a will, you can make it happen. She planned to take her family and friends on a trip worldwide in 2021, and she's doing it one country at a time. Egypt, Cabo, and even the windy city of Chicago are just a few places she's been. Of course, she's being clever and safe the whole time. Patrick told People in February 2021, "Everything is done right, and yes, you have to take more tests to go places, but that doesn't mean it's impossible." Constantly expanding her limits. What else is great about Patrick? The fact that she's not just a paid athlete. They know how important it is to keep their mental health healthy and exercise their minds. The 39-year-old has learned much about history and loved seeing the world's wonders while traveling. Even so, she's still really excited about going on adventures. Danica has been moving and trying new things at the same time. There are many things to do, such as camel rides, snowboarding, and wakeboarding. Running wild with Bear Grylls. There's a good chance you know Bear Grylls as the man who knows everything there is to know about being outside and all the scary things that can happen. In 2021, who got to be on one of his shows? I did a lot of things that scare me the most. It's funny, but progress is on the other side of fear. I learned from you that doing the scary thing right now is the most important thing. Patrick wrote about her time on Bear Grylls' show Running Wild on Instagram, but that wasn't the only step forward on the show. Grow from a broken heart. Patrick is undoubtedly one of the most outstanding female players girls look up to. She doesn't just inspire women, though. She loves getting people to think about their strengths and flaws. She does this by going after her dreams and facing her fears. Along with overcoming her fears, she had another big moment while on the show Running Wild with Bear Grylls. Patrick said on the show, "There's nothing like heartbreak to throw you in the deep end of learning about yourself. I've learned a lot, and as broken open as I was on the sad end, I have felt so much joy in many more situations and in many more unlikely places than I ever have. My heart broke open to both ends of the spectrum." New people, places, and things. You can be as young or as old as you want to be. Danica Patrick is living proof of that. She's always getting better as a person, whether it's through trying new things or dealing with personal issues. Though Patrick has been going to new places and trying new things, that's not all she's been doing lately. Besides that, she's been seeing a new boyfriend. Patrick and her boyfriend, Carter Comstock, who helped start chef-prepared Freshly Meals, married in the spring of 2021. Even though things are new, the two seem very happy.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon